Everybody's here. Hare Krishna. I didn't know you were all here. Wow. I feel very grateful to have all of your association. Hare Krishna. Is everybody happy? Feeling pretty good? Yeah? All right. That's a good sign. Hare Krishna. Please. You know, when you go into some place, they have this this machine to see if you have any weapon on you, right? Like a metal detector. We have a machine that if you're not happy, you can't come in. And then we have, it's a little subtle because it's like if you want to be happy, but you're not quite happy, you still can come in. But if you're miserable and you want to stay miserable, this thing will be like, can't come in. Mahaprabhu's mood is joyfully performed. If we don't have any joy in our spiritual life, what will keep us going? Everything we're doing, materially, spiritually, is based on we want to be happy. But Prabhupada said, you don't know how to be happy. That's the problem. So whatever's blocking us, whatever doubts, whatever anxiety, whatever problem, personal problem, collective problem we have, that's what's making us not peaceful. The mind is disturbed, emotionally disturbed. And Prabhupada said, if your mind, emotion is disturbed, you can't be happy. He said, chant and be happy. So Arjuna, he was not happy. Whatever he was thinking of, whatever he was trying to figure out, at the end of the day, whatever he could think of, whatever his plan was, whatever he was thinking, he was not spiritually happy and he's not materially happy. And because he's intelligent and wise, then he admitted, Prabhupada said he admitted his defeat. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Gopinath's song, he said, I tried to control my mind and my senses endlessly, so many times. But I admit my defeat that I could not do it. So everybody in material life, material consciousness, suffering with uncontrolled mind and senses. Because without surrendering our body, mind and soul to Krishna, to Rishikesh, there's no purification and control of this crazy mind, intelligence and senses. And as long as that is like that internally, we're going to be disturbed. We're not going to be peaceful. And if we're disturbed and we're not peaceful, Prabhupada said, you cannot be happy. So we're trying, Prabhupada said, we want to turn the hippies into happies. And Prabhupada went to see the hippies in the Tompkins Square Park in New York, all drugged out, Tamagun, Rajagun. Prabhupada said they're like cats and dogs having sex on the side of the road. And because of Prabhupada's purity and his empowerment and authorization from Mahaprabhu and his movement and his guru, Kripa, the Shakti, he could create a spiritual atmosphere. And I love this video when Prabhupada is in 26 Second Avenue and he's sitting on the Vyasasan, and he's chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and all these wild people on LSD and marijuana and all of these different drugs, they're all spinning around out of their minds, banging on something, thinking they're making a music. Someone was playing harmonium, and they're just right? You're not even playing anything, right? Two hands, right? He's playing the harmonium, right? It's not even like you don't even know how to do it. Just some noise. Some guy has like some pipe from the bathroom. You get a hammer, like he's just banging some toilet pipe or something, And then here's Srila Prabhupada, from Vaikuntha, he's sitting in the middle of this insane asylum, and I just absolutely love that video. And Prabhupada is just sitting there, he's so meek, so humble, so dependent on mercy from Mahaprabhu and his Guru. Because without that mercy, without that potency, how are these people gonna understand anything? How they're gonna be delivered? Prabhupada said, you cannot talk philosophy to those people. What philosophy will they understand? Just Harinam, Shuddhanam, Premanam, Jagannath Prasad, Krishna Prasadam, just purify the consciousness. So because of Srila Prabhupada's purity, Prabhupada said purity is the force, he was able, by chanting Shuddhanam, Premanam, to bring the whole Dharma, the whole Dham, the whole spiritual atmosphere in that place. So all of a sudden these people dancing, chanting around, and all of a sudden they're in a Dham, in the spiritual atmosphere created by this Premi Bhakta, and they don't even know it. They have no idea. Because it says wherever such devotee go, they bring Vrindavan, right? Krishna is always with them, Radha Krishna, they're always thinking of them, Radha Krishna always thinking of their devotee, Nitya Siddha, Premi Bhakta, right? So he said, okay, here's all these people, I'm going to just put this Dham and surround them with this Dham, with this spiritual potency, with this atmosphere. So he just changed the atmosphere that they're moving in. And that atmosphere is non-different from Krishna, Swarup Shakti, the spiritual energy. So just surrounding them, body, mind and soul. So because of that kripa, Guru, Sadhu, kripa, mercy, then completely purified their consciousness without them even understanding what's even happening. So by this satsanga, sadhu sangha, that is our association with Krishna, who is sending such devotees in order to give us their association. And Prabhupada said, many times I heard that devotees were thinking, oh, we have such a guru as Prabhupada, what must we have done in our previous life that we have such wonderful sukriti? And Prabhupada said, no, I'm creating your sukriti. Don't get carried away. Don't get puffed up. Oh, we must be something, otherwise how we have such a guru, right? No, they're creating that sukriti for you. They're engaging you in bhakti, in their service. We don't even know what we're doing. Agyata sukriti. Sometimes Prabhupada, when he was on the flight, flying around the world, starting movement, one servant of Prabhupada was saying that Prabhupada's feet were hanging off of the seat when Prabhupada was laying down. And the common people were walking by and just hitting the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Just little brushing into lotus feet of this Premi Bhakta. Agyata Sukriti. They said one time Prabhupada was eating some, what is it, puffed rice? Modi? And then the one stewardess on the airplane, she just came and reached over and just took Prabhupada Modi and threw it in her mouth. And everybody's like shocked, and Prabhupada like just smiling, you know. And they're giving mercy. They need mercy, right? So, if we really understand, we are we were born in the Kali Yuga. Kalau Shudra Sambhava means everybody, Shudra or less birth in Kali Yuga. I'm a Brahmana, I'm this, I'm that. Right? Kalau Shudra Sambhava. And it says that those who are Brahmanas in this age, they were demons in the last birth. So even that you cannot claim. So that means in the Kali Yuga, Kalau Shuddha Sambhava means no karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti. Nothing. Nothing. We are beggars of mercy. But if we're proud and we think we have this and that, and we know this and that, and we have sukriti, and we have bhakti, and we're devotee, and we're this, that, then where is the mood of crying for mercy? We feel like I'm fine. I'm doing nice. I remember one Prabhupada disciple many years ago in in Mayapur. 1995, and when Prabhupada asked Srila Govinda Swami, he said, Maharaj, now that we are so nicely situated, and he was trying to ask a question, but the premise was that now that we're so nicely situated, you know, and I was like, oh, here we go, well, Maharaj is he's not gonna take this like easily. He's going to speak the truth, right? He's not trying to be politically correct. He's not trying to make friends. He's not trying to be popular. He's going to speak the truth. Krishna is going to speak the truth through such pure vaya medium. That's what we need to hear, right? And then Gurudev said, with all due respect, my dear brother, you're nicely situated? And it was like a bomb went off in the temple room. Because my Gurudev was questioning to help his brother that why should you think that you're nicely situated? You're in trouble. You have uncontrolled mind and senses. How do you say you're nicely situated? So your premise is completely false. We've not even admitted our defeat. We have not been humbled out. We've not realized what is, Prabhupada says, in this Kali Yuga, everyone is Jagai and Madai. Not just one Jagai Madai. Everybody is Jagai Madai. But Jagai Madai, they got mercy. They got humbled out, they realized their mistake, and they begged excuse, and they promised that they'll not do it again. Then they got delivered. So we're worse than Jagai and Madai because we're committing sinful activity knowingly and repeatedly and shamelessly. And think, well, I'm nicely situated. Everything is fine. I know 600 shlokas. So when I met Srila Govinda Swami, the first thing he said was, I heard you all chanting, doing bhajan, kirtan when I came in the temple. And he said, okay, that's nice, you're chanting, doing bhajan, kirtan. And then Gurudev said, but do you have any idea what are you even saying? Have you realized what are you chanting? Do you understand the meaning of it? Or you're just like a parrot, just repeating? Then he said, spiritually, you're deaf, dumb, and blind. So where do you meet a person in the first 5 minutes? He tells you, you're posing as a devotee, and you're spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind. Where do you find that? Right? Isn't there one famous saying, when you meet somebody, you should say something nice, and speak some sweet words? Prabhupada one time he was telling, yes, when you meet some famous guy or some big guy, he said, just when you see them, you're preaching to some materialistic person, just say, oh, you're such an important, great guy, big guy. You know, just flatter him. Right? And then once you flatter him, then he'll like you. And then once you see that he likes you after you flatter him, Prabhupada saying, then Prabhupada said, then you say, sir, can I just ask you like one small question? And that man will say, of course, you can ask whatever you want. And then Prabhupada laughing and he says, sir, can you just please, whatever you think you know, can you just get rid of this nonsense? Can you just forget all of that? So sometimes you have to a little bit trick them. So Prabhupada said sometimes when you're preaching like that, you have to a little bit trick them because they have big false ego. So Prabhupada said, this is how to do, little flatter them, and then drop the bomb. Then tell them the truth. But in the case where Gurudev came into the temple, everyone's supposed to be devoted. Right? We're all serving so many years in the temple. So then Gurudev said, you're spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind. And you think you know, you have no idea even what are you saying. And that's like a shocking. How is it like this? So recently we met one devotee I was mentioning, and they're from Ukraine, Russia, combination, and this whole situation was so shocking to them that they saw, you could say, the real swarup of the world. And they said, this was so shocking situation that it made us question everything that we thought we knew, that we thought we realized. And we then understood that our so-called faith and realization and spiritual advancement, it was all theoretical. It was all like a superficial. Now we're questioning everything because they realized the foundation was not legitimate. The intelligence and faith, ultimately, that comes from Krishna. And if Krishna says, but if you cannot hear me, because of your false ego, then you are lost. Touch Trinu, Krishna said, you hear from me. So if we're not hearing from Krishna and we're lost and we're groping in the dark, we don't know what to do, what not to do. That's the very definition of spiritually deaf, dumb, blind. And this information is not for everybody. This is the perfect segue, perfect illustration. Right? At the very moment that we're realizing that we're spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind, and we're supposed to be realizing that, and we're being given an opportunity to get the real foundation, Maya said, "Chalo, let's go. Let's get out of here while we can." How are you, my friend? With the beard? Nice beard? You're good? What did you expect me to say? You expect me just to be flattering you? I was trained by a different kind of guru. Right? It said like father, like son. Right? So he's my spiritual father. I saw what works. I had many gurus. In ISKCON, out of ISKCON, right? Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, so many different devotees I trusted, I listened to. Okay, everybody tried to help me. Thank you. But I still have unanswered questions. I still have doubts that are undermining my faith and intelligence and determination to surrender to Krishna and to seriously dedicate my life internally, not just externally. Those doubts are like demons. When Arjuna realized, oh, I have all of these different doubts, then he went to Krishna as his spiritual master and said, oh, Madhu Surnana, please, you're the killer of the Madhu demon. I have so many doubts. Nobody can kill it. Nobody can answer it. No one can clear it. So I'm begging you, as my spiritual master, to help me. And it's the responsibility of bona fide authorized guru to answer your questions according to Guru Sadhana Shastra, not speculation, not emotional, not my opinion, by establishing and remembering, reminding of perfect knowledge from perfect source, and then to destroy the doubts. And if we don't have our questions, answered in a way which really we understand and we're really satisfied with those answers, and therefore we're not able to overcome the different doubts which are undermining our determination and our steadiness, and being able to purify, control mind and senses, we're not well situated. That means we're not getting shelter of Krishna and Guru. That means we're still groping in the dark. It means we're spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind because we cannot hear Krishna. We need a guru because we cannot hear Krishna. If we want to hear Krishna, then you need a guru. If you don't want to hear Krishna, you don't need a guru. Prabhupada said, if you think you're fine, and you think you're well situated, and you're satisfied with that, and you don't think you have a problem, you don't need a guru. And Prabhupada gives it if you think you're well, you don't need a doctor. Right? Yeah, when you get really sick, you're sick. No? He's sneezing at the same time. I'm like, thinking maybe he's sick. You know, you get some sickness and you think you can manage it, and all of a sudden now it's like it's getting like worse and worse, and you're like, okay, you're trying like everything that you know, and it's still like getting worse, right? Then now you go to your mother and your friends and like your different doctor or somebody that you know, then everybody's saying, okay, try this, everyone has some secrets, you know, medicine or way, and you try it because you're desperate, and still you're not getting better, still it's not solving it. Then you take more and more bitter medicine because you're like desperate now. Before we like a sweet medicine, sugar-coated quinine, right? So the bitter medicine, I like that haircut. That looks really cool. It's like you're ready for World War III, man. I like that. We're in a battle. It's a big battle. You know, you come to the spiritual institution, you're supposed to come for shelter and protection, right? That's like another battle. It's like, how do you survive in the spiritual institution? You know, how do you walk around in a spiritual, you know, temple environment and it's like a minefield? So that's a Dham? That's a spiritual atmosphere where every step is a possible blown up. And then you meet somebody and you just say, oh, good morning, Babu, you know, who's your guru? It's like being in a fascist state, right? And they're asking you to show your papers, you know. You know, can I see your identification, please? I remember when I first went to Russia, and I saw all of the men were carrying almost like a lady's pocketbook, you know. And this was before like everyone, you know. Now it's common because if you have cell phone and all of this other thing. But at that time, when I was in Moscow, I was asking why do all the men, why are they carrying like this, like a pocketbook? You know what I mean by pocketbook? She doesn't have a pocketbook. She's like an abadut. She doesn't even remember what a pocketbook is. So then when I asked the devotees why the man is carrying this thing, they said, no, he has to have all of his papers. All of his passports, papers, registration. And I was like, are you serious? They said, yeah, anybody can stop you just out of anywhere and just say, okay, let me see your papers. Why you're walking here? What are you doing here? And I wasn't used to that because over, you know, in the United States at that time at least, now it's another story. But at that time, you could just walk around anywhere you want. You don't have to carry a wallet or identification or anything. Nobody's going to stop you, right? So that was like a shocking. So now when I come to ISKCON and I'm trying to walk around and people are like, you know, who's your guru? And then, you know, if you really want to buy some time, just say Srila Prabhupada. Then nobody can kind of say anything, right? But now if you say Prabhupada, to say, you know, I'm offended by that answer. That means you're not accepting my guru. That means you're a Ritvik. That means you have no faith in my guru. Now I don't trust you because you said you just accept Prabhupada. If you said these official gurus' name, especially local, that then you can move however you need to move on the temple grounds, isn't it? So that's the Dham, that's a spiritual atmosphere where you're legislating and controlling people's faith and movement of their faith. You're not allowing Krishna to give intelligence and faith within the heart, mind, soul of those personalities. You're going to control. This is the thought police. This is the faith police. If you're going to come to this temple, you can have faith in 2 people. So there's choices, right? There's minute independence and there's choices. But these are your choices. I'm not saying here, I'm just saying I have found. These are the official gurus that you're allowed to have faith. So it's like we were talking about the internet, right? And we're talking about all of these algorithms that are controlling everybody's thoughts and minds and attention and desires, right? And there's someone telling me, well, you just have to be smart to just not say any words, any keywords, which will trip this algorithm to reject you, or to cancel you, or to ban you. So you have to learn, they were trying to convince me, you have to learn how to move freely within this little box of freedom where you're not triggering any type of algorithm which basically cancels, blocks you, bans you out of the whole system. So there's freedom, there's movement, there's discussion, there's free will, there's choices of information that you want to talk about, but within a certain frame. And anything that's outside of that box, that's conspiracy theory. That's anti-democracy. And then what they do is, whatever their idea is, however demoniac it is, you just call it democracy. So everybody, the word democracy means it's just what everybody wants to do, right? No, it's what the select, elite, atheistic, globalist cabal, how they want to exploit you and manipulate you and brainwash you due to their insatiable lust for power and money and control. That's their definition of democracy. So if you accept their definition of democracy, then you can nicely move around. Sound familiar? What's your name? Yeah.
Govinda.
Govinda? That's a nice name. Where are you from?
I'm from near Kolkata airport.
Near airport?
Near Calcutta Airport.
Acha. You look too nice to live near the Calcutta airport. How are you surviving? That's a very hectic place, isn't it? How are you so peaceful in the middle of all of that? You must be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, what do you want to talk about? Any questions, any points, topics you'd like to talk? Yes? Sham? Shamalam? He needs a microphone. He's very shy. He's a very soft guy. He hands out flowers on the battlefield. This is that guy. Everybody's a spirit soul. Everyone deserves love. Right? That's why we love Sham. So what is it?
I was wondering why everyone
is initiated by Jayapataka Swami Maharaj.
Why what?
Well, everyone I speak to, they're initiated by Jayapataka Swami Maharaj.
We don't name names here. We talk philosophy. You do the math. Alright? We're talking Guru Sadhu Shastra. We're talking principles. You pray to Krishna to give you intelligence and faith and understanding of what is what. Most people are not serious. Prabhupada said, 99% of the people, all they know is their body and their mind. That's all they know. That's all they can hear. That's spiritual, deaf, dumb, and blind. Prabhupada says the same thing. 99% of the people, all they know is their body, material mind. And Prabhupada says in Srimad Bhagavatam purport, hardly anybody is interested to go back home, back to Godhead. Hardly anybody is interested for that. So we're living in Maya Jagat. This is prison house. Mostly Tamagun is here. So hardly anybody is really serious. Because everybody is in some ways unfortunate due to the brainwashing, due to the asatsanga, due to the misinformation, disinformation, systematic dumbing down of intelligence through this so-called modern educational system. They're putting all types of things into your food, into the water, into the media sphere, into the educational sphere, political sphere. It's all meant to contaminate your consciousness and degrade your consciousness and to create more and more tamagun. It's not meant to purify and elevate and liberate, to understand soul topics, to understand the spiritual topics. It's designed completely opposite to that. And that's why Srila Prabhupada says, as I'm traveling all around the world, there's no schools and universities and colleges which are talking about the soul and what happens to the soul after it leaves this material body. There's no line of talk or discussion or school, university, or college which is focusing on that. That means the rest of it is all demoniac. It's all based on body, mind. It's all based on gross, subtle, material energy. So that is what we're up against. So if most people are not serious and they don't think they have a problem, they don't need a guru. And then if you do get a guru, Prabhupada said, you're doing it as a fashion statement. Don't select a guru just as a fashion statement. Oh, I have a guru, I have a spiritual name. Prabhupada joking, it's like saying, I have a dog. You know, now it's fashionable to walk around with like a fancy dog. Right? Do you see anyone in India walking around with like a local Indian dog on a leash? You know? You know what I mean, Indian dog, right? Do you see anyone walking around with some fancy leash? I'm proud of my local Indian dog. Right? All the Indian people will like laugh at you, like, this is your dog, you know? Anybody can get a dog like that, you know? Just go out on the street and get a dog. Right? No, you need a fancy dog. Really fancy dog. Then you walk around, even the dog is puffed up. You ever notice that? The dogs are puffed up. The Indian dogs are not so puffed up, you know? They're just like, we're Indian dogs, you know? We're just fighting to survive, you know? But these other dogs, you know, they come from outside, they're like, you know, we're from foreign countries. They get an attitude. Like, where do they learn that? And then their owners walk in, he's puffed up, I get the fancy dog, and then the dog is like, yeah, we're taking a walk, we're showing the neighborhood. You want a fancy dog? That's advancement of modern civilization. And then instead of worshipping God, backwards they're worshipping dog. G-O-D, D-O-G. So they're worshipping the dog instead of God. So most people not serious. If they do say they want a guru, it's because they want to be cool. Yo, I have a guru, I have a spiritual name. Doesn't matter, he can't answer any of your questions, he can't destroy your doubts, he cannot do the main function of the guru. But I have a guru. Right? And if you want to move around in ISKCON, right? If you want all the facilities of an international society, you need a guru. Okay, let me pick a guru. And people say, who's your guru? And you just say, oh, this Maharaja. Oh, okay, nice, okay. Here's a room, here's prasadam. Enjoy, take full facility. Right? So you need the guru in order to move in that temple, in that society, in that international organization. Am I being too pessimistic? Huh? Isn't it true? Yeah? And then if you just say some, you know, wherever you go, like you just say this particular guru, and they say, oh, I didn't know you were a disciple of that Maharaj. And so I'm aspiring. I'm aspiring. Okay, then that's possibly, then they'll just watch you. They'll have like KGB, they'll have some spies, let's just see how he's moving around, let's see how much he's aspiring. So Prabhupada said most people, they're not serious. So most people, they're cheating. And if we're cheating, you need a cheating guru. Prabhupada says. So if most people are cheating, then that means most of the gurus have to be cheating also. Right? So if 9 out of, let's just say, all right, let's break this down. Let's say 9 out of 10 people are cheating, right? Then you need 9 cheating gurus, and you need 1 real guru, right? So Prabhupada says, what kind of guru do you want? Do you want a cheating guru? Or do you want the real guru? Now, I'm not naming names. Okay, I'm not saying who's who. I'm just saying, what do we want? What do we deserve? That's what we're going to get. That's what I'm saying. And Prabhupada says, if you are sincere and you're serious and you want to surrender to Krishna, Krishna will send you a very nice guru. Someone said, Prabhupada, in this science of self-realization, Prabhupada, it seems so difficult to understand, like, who's really a guru? Who's a real guru? Especially all of these gurus, sadhus, they're coming from India. So we don't know, like who's who. So it seems very difficult to understand who's really guru, who's really bona fide guru. And Srila Prabhupada said, Mr. O'Grady, his name is, asked that question. And Prabhupada said, Mr. O'Grady, that is not the problem. The problem is, how sincere and serious are you to want to surrender to Krishna and solve your problem, whatever your problem is. Then you need a guru. Then Krishna will send you a guru. He'll send you a very nice guru. But if you're not serious and you're cheating, and you're doing it as a fashion statement, or just some kind of ecclesiastical pass so you can move within an international society, then you'll get a cheating guru. That's Prabhupada's words. I'm not the witness and judge of who's a cheating guru and who's this kind of guru. You first see, what are we? How sincere and serious are we? How much have we convinced Krishna that we really want to surrender to Krishna? And Prabhupada says, if you do that, then Krishna will mark it, and as a Krishna's Chaitya Guru, Paramatma Super Soul, will give you intelligence and faith within inside of your own heart. He'll dictate to you. Paramatma will dictate to you, you should accept that person as your guru. So who made us select anybody as guru? Was it Chaitya Guru, Paramatma? Was it Krishna, Antaryami, Chaitya Guru? Did he give that intelligence and faith? That's the question. We're in the movement for 6 months, 1 year. Oh, you need to pick a guru. You need a guru. And you're like, all right. Who's the guru? And you know, it's this guy, and then this one, that one. And then I was like, in my place, there's like 3 people, right? So out of those 3, one of them I said, no way, to one of them. Then the other 2, I said, okay, this person, he's very funny. And he gives a really interesting class. And then the other guru, when he's chanting, he's a very nice singer. So he does very nice bhajan kirtan. So this is how I'm selecting who is the guru? He's a comedian and he's a musician. So what do you prefer, a comedian or a musician? Well, I like the musician better than the comedian. They're probably all nice guys, you know. That's Guru Tattva? Or you go to you go to your counselor, and he says, we have selected who is your guru. And we're like, well, who the hell are you? Right, you just joined? We've already selected who is your guru. We should just say, but you don't know if I'm a cheater or if I'm serious, so how did you select my guru? Right? First find out if I'm a cheater or if I'm really serious, and then you can suggest somebody for me. And then literally, because I was GBC zonal secretary, not GBC, but zonal secretary. I was in all of these meetings, many meetings, association with all of these leaders, all of these gurus. I went to official guru seminar in ISKCON. I have my certificate. I'm an official, yep, please, everybody. Can I get a little applause? Thank you. That my self-esteem feels much better now that you've recognized my contribution to that 3-day seminar on how to save humanity. They taught me empathetic hearing, how to want to listen to somebody. I didn't want to listen to anybody before that seminar. And when I did listen to somebody, it wasn't empathetic enough. Then after that, I like really tried to listen to people, like with my heart and my soul. So you have to teach the guru how to sincerely listen to somebody. This is the quality of people you're trying to train to be a guru. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that whole subject. But what was the point I was saying about this?
Sincerity and seriousness.
Huh?
Sincerity and seriousness.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate because somebody is really trying to understand about the spiritual life. They may even come to the spiritual institution. They read Prabhupada's books. Krishna convinced them. They came to the temple. And then they don't train them to understand what is Guru Tattva. So if you don't train somebody, what is the science of Guru Tattva and what is the process of understanding the qualification of the Guru, the qualification of the disciple, the process to understand it, the process to be accepted, the process of being educated and advanced within that association, nothing is explained. No training. So then to say, okay, pick a guru, how do you know who and what is a guru? How do you pick? How do you choose? This is the problem. So that's why it's a test. It's a test of our sincerity and seriousness to surrender to Krishna. And when I thought back, did I depend on Krishna as Chetu Guru, as Super Soul, Paramatma? Was I crying to Him and depending on Him to give me intelligence and faith to understand who is He using to help me in my spiritual life? No, I didn't do that. I just selected somebody, or somebody selected for me. So what happened was, when I was in these meetings in Bombay and Delhi and all of these with the temple presidents, what they do is they say, all the new people who join this temple, there's 4 main gurus that we're servicing and facilitating in this temple. So they pick like 3 or 4, right? And then all the new people who come, they are basically put into a group. You're in this group, that's for that guru. Next guy joins, okay, you're in this group, that's for that guru. So they're literally, it's like when you're playing cards, It's like everyone's just getting like a card. Right? So they're just taking the new people and they're like 4 cards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no selection. There's no what's your psychophysical nature, which guru might be better for that particular individual. No, it's just the next one up goes to this guru. And the next one who joins, he goes to that guru. And the next one who joins, he goes to that guru. Where does it say in Guru Sadhu and Shastra, from Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Shastra, in any previous acharya in Mahaprabhu's Parampara, whoever says that this is how you understand who is your guru? Where is the authorization for that system? From previous acharyas according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra. That alone is an issue. Then you don't train them to understand what is Guru Tattva. Can you imagine you're a guru and you don't even know what is Guru Tattva? It's like you're a full-time cook, right? But you don't know how to make rice. in India, right? So you're like in charge of the kitchen, you're a full-time chef, but you don't know how to boil rice. Does that make any sense to you? And then if you don't train the new people to understand what is the science of Guru Tattva, how do you then tell them to make a choice? You didn't equip them. You didn't educate them. You didn't explain it to them. What are the pitfalls? What to be careful about? How to depend on Krishna to get and convince Krishna that you want Guru sent by him, not sent by Maya. Cheating Guru from most people means Maya Guru. So Srila Govinda Swami, when he was preaching in Australia, some tapes and videos there, and Maharaja asking some new bhakta, what kind of Guru do you want? Do you want a Guru sent by Krishna, or do you want a Guru sent by Maya? Why don't they quote this? Why do they not quote Srila Prabhupada talking about this? Have you heard them quoting Prabhupada talking about that? About getting cheating Guru? No? That's so surprising. Am I being too controversial? Am I creating too much of a controversy? I'm not waiting for the vehicle to come from the temple to pick me up, to let me give the class in the temple. My last class I gave there, I was quoting how Prabhupada was saying that sincerity and seriousness to want to understand Krishna and surrender to Krishna is prerequisite for Krishna to send you a bona fide Guru. And I quoted 40 verses from Srila Prabhupada saying exactly that same thing. And the Prabhupada disciples were furious with me. You know, what are you? You're the judge of our sincerity and our seriousness? You know, who are you? You're trying to say we're not sincere and we're serious? I said, I just said, your Guru, Srila Prabhupada, is saying that Krishna is the witness and the judge of everyone within the heart. He's fulfilling the desire of everyone, whether materially or spiritually. And if he sees that you want to surrender and serve him, that sincerity and seriousness, Krishna will make an arrangement and send you a bona fide Guru. Why are you upset by that statement? Why all the defensiveness? Why are you so uptight about these? You know, these are like buzzwords, right? These are like triggering words, they call it. Right? These are triggering words. Sincerity and seriousness and surrender. Those three words, those key words together cannot be said here. The algorithm does not allow those three words to be said in the same paragraph or sentence. Sincerity, seriousness, and surrender. If you do that, your computer will freeze, you'll be sent a notice, you've been excommunicated, you've been cancelled, you've been blocked, you've been banned, right? So then, you know, if you dance around it and you don't put surrender with sincerity, like you separate it by paragraphs and sentences, and you use underscores and slashes, right? Then that's all right. But the authorities will decide what is your real intent for putting sincerity and seriousness and surrender in the same sentence. It's unacceptable. Mataji, you all right? Are you listening? Because I'm being really strong, she's a little nervous. Because I'm being like a little bold. Right? I'm preaching to myself. You just happen to be here listening to what I need to hear. I'm hoping it helps you as well. Because we have to counter the mis and the disinformation which is so prevalent and deep-rooted and for so long that it literally is going to take a Moab. You know what a Moab is? Mother of all bombs. Mother of all bombs. It's a Moab. That's what it's going to take. They call it bunker buster. Right? Everyone is just in the bunker with cement and rebar and, right, just defensive position. So some smaller bomb, it just bounces off. You know what I mean? But a Moab, a mother of all bombs, a bunker buster, that thing is going all the way, Baba. We need this kind of information. Oh, I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want, I don't know what is your pronouns. Are you he or she, or us or they? Are you male or female? Or you, even on the applications now, right? Are you male, female, other, X chromosome, Y chromosome? What are your preferred pronouns? And they're making up like G and D. They're just making up, different sounds. Huh?
Yeah, like Z.
Like Z?
Yeah, XEE.
Yeah, they just make up, like you can make up any pronouns. If you want to identify with a cat. No, seriously, one. This is true. This is crazy. It's crazy. This lady, this teacher in America, she got fired from her job as a teacher because she would not deal with one girl who wants to identify as a cat. So because she would not deal with that girl who wants to be a cat, they fired the teacher. Disrespectful. You're interfering with her democracy. I always feel like I'm getting in trouble, Because I'm like it's not like I'm just like slowly going into different, I'm like stomping into different, like I'm not like quietly moving through the garden, I'm just like, I feel like Godzilla, That's why I feel like gross sometimes, That's why I'm always apologizing. Because I'm not doing it like delicately, Like Godzilla doesn't say, can I put my toe here? This is philosophical, you know that? He's talking about Godzilla. Mother of all bombs, bunker busters, minefields in the spiritual institution, gurus sent by Maya. This is too much. Does that answer your question? You see how politically correct I was? I didn't mention anybody's name, right? right? I was a gentleman. I was careful. I talked about Godzilla, but I was careful. That's the only name I mentioned was Godzilla. Oh, Krishna. What else should I know? What else you want to talk about? If anyone is disturbed by anything that I'm saying, ISKCON has psychologists. Right? And then, you know, I remember when I was in Los Angeles temple, and Srila Govinda Swami came there. So what happened was the next day, he gave Bhagavatam class, and all Prabhupada disciples, nobody came. So then, what happened was, there's one guy from Orissa, and he gets rid of ghosts. He's like the ghost buster. So he has one ashram called Pagala Ashram. And he has all of these ghosts like in these little pots. Right? So if you're like, you know, if you're harassed by like 2 or 3 ghosts, he just comes for a small fee and he just collects the ghosts from you and he puts them in some pots and he just keeps it in one ashram in Orissa, you know. We went there on Padayatra, you know, it's a very strange place, you know. This guy came out with these purple clothes on and he's just like... It was bizarre, you know. And he had all these pots and all the ghosts were there, you know. So what happened was he used to go around the world to the ISKCON temples. And then like all the gurus, they would go to him. Right? And he would collect all of their ghosts. And he had like a special pot like from the guru's ghost. This is a true story. I'm serious. I'm being 100% honest with you. I tell some funny things, but this is really true. This is really true. So he was in Los Angeles at the time that Srila Govinda Swami went to Los Angeles, the first time I met him. So all the Prabhupada disciples, they didn't come to the class because they were up in the middle of the night with this guy trying to get rid of all of their ghosts. So they were so tired in the morning, they couldn't come to Prabhupada's Guru Puja and they couldn't come to the class. And then what happened was that guy, he's from Orissa, right? So he came to Srila Govinda Swami like years before. And he said, Maharaj, I want to be your shishya. You know, I want to be your disciple. Because Gurudev was big guru, ISKCON guru in Orissa, right? So this guy in charge of the Pagala Ashram, he came there and he said, I want to be your disciple. And Maharaj said, okay, but you have to give up all of this nonsense. You give up all this nonsense, just surrender to Krishna, and then I'll help you. And he said, that will be impossible, because that's how I make my money. Right? So then what happened was he went to this other guru who accepted him. And he said, no, you can be in charge of your Pagala ashram and you can worship the Bhutas and all the demons and the, you know, all the ghosts and goblins and whatever else is up there, you know. That's no problem. You want to be my shishya? Yes, okay, no problem. Yeah. Here's the beads, here's the mantra. So when Srila Govinda Swami realized that all of the Prabhupada disciples, many of the Prabhupada disciples, they didn't come to the class. So he said, why are they not at the class? And then when he's walking out of the temple, the Pagala Ashram Guru, he comes walking by, and my Gurudev, he knows this guy is such a rascal, and he just took his cane and he was like, rascal, you know. And they were like a little laughing with that guy. Because he knows he's just over here cheating all these American people, right? And then it turns out like some of the gurus were there also. So then they could get rid of the ghost. So if you want a guru like that, then you should wait till after he goes to the Ghostbuster. Because then at least some of the ghosts will go. Then it might be like a little better. His speculation might be like a little bit less influenced by whatever remaining ghosts are there. So there's less of a percentage of being bewildered after that. How do I get into these conversations with you people? Didn't I tell you in there, like, I don't know what we're going to talk about? This is a completely different conversation. So, yeah, what kind of guru do you want? Any other controversial questions? Any question, I'm just joking. Haribol. It just seems like every answer is controversial. The questions are fine, except Sham is trying to set me up with a political bomb. I had to sidestep that bomb he's throwing at me. It's like, you know, he's like tossing me like a grenade, you know. Let's play catch, you know. We'll just, the pin is still in it, but we'll just play catch with the grenade, you know what I mean? Try not to drop it, you know. We don't know if the pin's gonna pop out or not, you know. So, what is it? Godzilla. Sergey, are you getting all of this? Are you understanding everything? How much of my English do you understand? Which percentage? 99? A Pavichar or Tattvavichar? 99. What? Yeah, I'm fielding one from this this fine gentleman back here. I'm bad, you know. I'm sorry I can't be somebody else for you. I tried that for a while, it didn't work for me. I went to just being back to myself. The other way really wasn't working, nobody believed it. What is it?
So, Prabhu is asking that because he's a student.
He had what?
He's a student, is studying, he's doing his education. And so as a student, they're growing up, they had some dream, like to do something in life, to do something for the nation. So can he do also spiritual life and also like do other things, like fulfill his dream?
No. Sorry. Manmana bhava madbhakto. You know, Krishna said, just surrender to me, be my devotee. If he wants you to make some money to take care of the family, he'll give you a job. Alright? Then you don't have to bother your head. I mean, you talk about an honest answer. Is that not an honest answer? Oh, well, can't you encourage his dream? Do you have to be like a dream killer? You're a killer of the inspiration. You're destroying his self-esteem. Good. Then we'll surrender. So what really what it all boils down to is, do we want to be a servant of Krishna or servant of Maya? We're trying to figure out how to do both. And we're not succeeding on either side. We're not a good servant of Krishna, and we're not a good servant of Maya. Isn't it? But we have to make a decision. Minute independence, Krishna explains, you have to decide. Do you want to serve Krishna? Do you want to serve in Guru and Krishna's samsara family? Or do you want to serve in Maya's family samsara? So what do you want? If you don't mind me asking. And you can, and I'll give you a hint, you can't have both. Okay, so now what do you want? Oh, this sounds so fanatical, doesn't it? I remember my Gurudev said, you know, I'm actually a fanatic of the absolute truth. I'm fanatical for the absolute truth. You guys are warming me up, man. This is getting heavy, you know? Okay? How does that work for you?
So he's saying he's not able to decide now.
Okay. But at least you know what your choices are. That helps. Not only do we know the choices, but you also know it has to be one or the other. So we're narrowing down your confusion. We're narrowing down the mental speculation. Now every soul has to decide what do they want. All right? Who had a question here? Who? Oh, Mataji. Oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I have a question.
Do you have microphone so everyone can hear? I used to be really nice and make friends with everybody. Then that lasted for like a while. And then I decided I want the right friends instead of like a lot of friends. So my whole dynamics changed. You know? So please, sir.
I have understood that
Is it working?
that it is said that it is possible, there is three kinds of gurus, and it is possible to find gurus who are Kanishta Adhikari, also Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. So everyone, each of us wants to have the self-realized guru who is Uttama Adhikari, but still, actually, as much as I understood, we are taking guru who is inspiring us, and it could be anybody. I mean, it will be. We are not in the situation to understand if we are beginners, if guru is also not very realized, but he's somehow sympathetic or charming or whatever, who is doing preaching and so, like that. So my question is, if we get guru who is not really elevated, is it possible that he's still connecting us with Krishna and in the parampara? That we get certain advancement?
See, it's really a question of who is transcendentally situated and who is materially, theoretically situated. So now the question is, if we're beginning in spiritual life and we have the four defects of material consciousness, and we're still influenced by modes of material nature, we're still spiritually, deaf, dumb and blind to that transcendental realm. So it's said that we are not the seers, rather we are to be seen. So we don't have the spiritual consciousness or qualification to really measure who's really on what platform. Because someone might be very austere, they might be very charming, they might be very, how do you say, like intellectually minded. They may have different qualities, they may have different abilities, they may be very logical, they might be very materially matured and sophisticated in their dealing with you. But all of that doesn't tell you that they're transcendentally situated or connected. And that's the most important aspect. Because one guru, he writes books on Shiksha Diksha. And he came to Bhubaneswar. And he's supposed to be like one of the experts within ISKCON about this topic, about Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru. So, he was making statement that the Guru does not have to be liberated. He doesn't have to be on transcendental platform. But he can still be Guru. So he's making this argument. And he's one of the premier experts in ISKCON. Now Srila Prabhupada says that if your hands are bound and tied, how can the bound untie somebody else? So therefore, the Guru should be liberated. And Prabhupada says in Daivivanashram, in this verse where Krishna says, Mama Maya Dorateya, that this Maya is my Maya. So unless you surrender to Krishna, you cannot get free from the Maya. So in the purport, Prabhupada said, only Krishna or Krishna's bona fide authorized representative in Parampara can release us from Maya. So it's not really a question of us trying to analyze or measure who's who. It's a question of who Krishna will send to us, that by hearing from them, they can make us surrender to Krishna, not theoretically, but in a way that Krishna orders Maya to release you. That's the bottom line. So if Krishna and his representative, because many people say they're representing Krishna and they're a guru and they're this or that. Okay, that's fine. But you judge the thing by the results. So if they cannot purify, help us to surrender to Krishna, to purify our mind and senses, and to answer the questions in a way that is according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra and destroy the doubts, then what is the point then of accepting someone as the Guru? So then we have to ask, well, what are we expecting that particular Guru to do? Or what effect can we expect from that particular personality? So Prabhupada says that only one who has a relationship with the Chetu Guru, Paramatma, and unless you're liberated and purified state of consciousness, you cannot have that kind of faith, intelligence, and dependence on Krishna as Paramatma Super Soul. Prabhupada said only that person can be a Guru. So now how does conditioned soul know who has this kind of faith and dependence and relationship with Krishna as Super Soul Paramatma when that whole relationship and exchange is on a transcendental platform, when we are still somehow affected in a materialistic type of consciousness or platform. So it's impossible to understand. My Gurudev used to explain like this, that what we really need to see in that Guru are the three most important things that we need to understand in that Guru. We have no ability to understand it. And the first one was, how much faith does this person actually have in Krishna? Not theoretically, but actual factual faith. How do we measure that? And then the second one was, how surrendered is this person to Krishna? Internally, externally. How do we really measure that level of surrender that Krishna is accepting as his surrender? How do we measure that? And then the third thing that we need to understand is, what is this person's motivation? What is this, in the heart of hearts, what is really driving and motivating this person to take this role as a spiritual master? So those three things we absolutely have to understand, but we have no qualification or measuring instrument within ourselves to understand it. So that's why Prabhupada said, if you just somehow or other convince Krishna that you want to surrender to him, and you want to serve him in a mood of loving devotion, then Krishna as witness and the judge of that, he'll know perfectly well. Because Krishna, my Gurudev used to say, Krishna knows who is his own man. We don't know who is Krishna's own man. Everybody's saying they're Krishna's man. Right? You're dressed sannyasi, you're dressed as a guru, you're quoting Shastra, you're taking disciples, you're managing temples. Everybody's saying they're Krishna's own man. But how do we actually factually know who really is Krishna's own man, when Prabhupada's also saying that there's so many cheaters, cheating gurus there? So how do we know who's cheating, who's not cheating? Right, some things is very obvious to see, but a lot of the subtleties and the internal spiritual things that we need to understand, we have no ability to see without mercy from Krishna and from that sadhu, guru, Vaishnava. So this is a, what was the other point that I wanted to, when you were talking, I was thinking that, so that Maharaj, I asked Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, you're saying the guru doesn't have to be liberated. And I said, if your disciple goes to you and asks you, what does Krishna want me to do? Where do you get your answer from in order to answer that disciple's sincere inquiry of what Krishna wants him to do? If you're not liberated, you're still affected under the modes of material nature. And he said, well, sometimes he gets it right. There you go. Sometimes he gets it right, and sometimes he doesn't. That was his answer. So sometimes he gets it right, and sometimes he doesn't. And when he doesn't get it right, you have no right to complain, because he was sincerely trying to help you. That was his answer. So when we want to know directly from Krishna what Krishna wants us to do as an act of surrender and service, only Krishna can say. We don't need to hear someone's opinion or this guru or that guru. We need to hear and be convinced, what does Krishna want? What is Krishna asking us to do? Now Krishna says, if you do what I want you to do, Krishna in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that surrender and that service will purify you, and it will liberate you, and it will free you from karma bandhana. It will free you from karma in the cycle of action and reaction. That's why we need to know. We don't need someone who's trying to help us and just speculating maybe better than us, with some percentage that what he speculates may actually be coming from Maya. And then that activity which is not coming from Krishna, Krishna says that activity will contaminate your consciousness and degrade you and keep you in this cycle of karma bandhana. So that's why it's so important to define what are we trying to achieve, and then what is required in order to achieve that. That has to be very defined, because Prabhupada says a bona fide guru is pure via medium of Krishna. So if I ask my guru, and I understand my guru is pure via medium of Krishna, and I ask, can you please tell me, what does Krishna want me to do? I need to know definitively, specifically, what Krishna will order and instruct me, because otherwise that surrender will not be to him or for him. So how will you get released from Maya? Just doing something doesn't mean that it's coming from, it's not coming from Krishna, and ultimately Krishna is not receiving it. So without Krishna understanding who is Krishna's own man by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, there's no sambandha jnana, there's no actual connection with Krishna. So Prabhupada says that when Krishna sends you a bona fide Guru and Parampara, that is Krishna accepting you and your sincerity and your seriousness in this sambandha jnana. That is your connection to Krishna, is through that Guru. Then he gives you this bhajana kriya, this abhideya, he gives you this general specific instructions by which we can go to this anatta nivritti stage of purification. So it's very scientific, and it doesn't mean that, we all have different types of shiksha gurus and different people who inspire us or who try to help us. And as long as there's reminding according to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, right, that's all right. But when we want to absolutely know, we need a pure via medium, but we don't know who's pure via medium. That's the problem. So that's why instead of, trying to figure out, okay, who's on what platform and who's actually a pure via medium of Krishna, because they're all saying that they're a guru and they're a representative of Krishna. But that's not necessarily true. So how does conditioned soul know who is who, what is what? So without complete dependence on Krishna, internally, and being able to depend on Super Soul, Paramatma, Chetu Guru, Prabhupada says that Paramatma, Chetu Guru, Krishna, will give you intelligence and will dictate to you who you should accept as your Guru. So for us to just independently be trying to decide who is my Guru, that's not our lookout. That's up to Krishna to determine, are we sincere and serious? Then Krishna, Paramatma, Chetu Guru will give you intelligence and dictate to you, you should accept this person as your Guru. If we're not serious, we're not really want to surrender, we're not as sincere as we think we are, then Krishna will remain mum, and then some influence mentally, sentimentally, or through some type of ecclesiastical pressure or social pressure will dictate to you, according to your liking, under the modes of material nature, to accept something else. So you asked a very sincere, deep question, and I'm trying to give you the best scientific, practical answer that I can to make it clear, because it's very confusing, because many people are saying many things, and especially if there are elders or they're senior devotees or they're preachers or even if they're officially gurus, they're all presenting it in a much more kind of speculative, diverse way. Prabhupada said the Siddhanta, Bhakti Siddhanta, the Tattva Siddhanta is one. It's not even two. So how they're all arguing and presenting this Guru Sadhu Shastra, the Siddhanta, the Tattvas, according to all these, all these different types of variable ways of looking at it or thinking about it or presenting it, is proof that there's a lot of counterfeit money there. So, if there's a lot of counterfeit money, it doesn't mean that there isn't any real money. So now it's a question of, okay, if you know that there are cheating gurus, there's different levels of gurus, and there's real gurus, now it's up to what do we deserve and what do we desire? That becomes the question. And then that's up to Krishna to determine our sincerity, our seriousness, what we desire, what we deserve. Then he'll determine whether he'll give you direct intelligence and faith, or whether he'll bewilder you through Maya, who's affecting the speculative, manufactured, self-made gurus who are actually controlled by Maya. That's the truth. And I'm coming, I had different gurus, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, so I've gone through it all, through much of it. I've had to fight through and try to understand and pray and cry to Krishna and try to go deeper and deeper and deeper, like what is this, how is it working, why is it like this? So this is, close to 35 years of my going through that process that I'm sharing with you. And it's certainly not politically correct answer, because they want us to say that once you're a guru, they're all absolute, and they're all more or less the same. Once you get over the absolute platform, then whatever differences or distinctions are there, that's all going on the absolute transcendental platform, and that's not our lookout. We'll commit offense if we try to understand those differences. What do you think about that? I really want to hear your first impression of that. Because you sincerely asked a nice question, I gave you a very detailed type of answer.
Thank you very much for your answer, and I'm actually pleased that you talk like that. On the other side, my own experience is like that it's not fitting to the codex, but I could share a little bit with you.
Yes, yeah.
Like, for example, my first Guru Maharaj, who I appreciated, still appreciating, and he left the movement, Hari-katha.
Hari-katha Maharaj.
Yes. He has done a huge seva and
book distribution.
Book distribution, of course.
I was book distributor, so everybody knows about Hari-katha.
Yes. And me too.
And I met him also many times when he came to America, in New York and Boston and other places as well. I got his association. I had my own personal experience with him. And so I was very inspired by how he could inspire other people to dedicate their life to distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. So I very much appreciated that, his strength and his ability to encourage people to dedicate their life to that seva. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and he has done a lot for Mayapur project. He has done a lot for Mayapur project.
Yes, also finance. Yeah.
And but I will still talk abstract, not with the names, because it's like.
And then what? I'm sorry.
Then I will still, what I want to say is more abstract, like. For example,
do you know why Maharaj fell down?
Well,
Can I tell you why? I know exactly why he fell down. Because a personality on that platform who's doing that much seva, who's such prominent personality, the only possible way he can fall from that position is because of Vaishnava Bharaj. And it's sad, it's a sad truth, but he was the biggest offender against Srila Govinda Swami. He was very, very,
I'm very sorry for that.
he was very, very offensive against Maharaj. And even other GBC members, they told him and told us, they were horrified by how he was attacking Srila Govinda Swami. And it can only be that kind of such a severe offense to bring down such a, Maharati, such a soldier. This only because of that. And it's a warning to all of us. It's really true.
Yeah, it's true.
And whenever I meet Maharaja, Hari-katha disciples in Armenia, I met all of them when I went to Armenia. The original books, the original book makers in those places, in those farms, in those garages. I went there. I associated with them after Maharaj fell down and left. They were in complete shock. They were literally, they were devastated by this situation. After what they went through and what they sacrificed, this is no small thing. And I'm like a younger devotee walking into that situation, knowing how it is that he fell down. And I was like, I don't want to just tell these devotees. So I'm just trying to encourage them and appreciate whatever seva they did, because I knew this is going to take time for everybody to just somehow or other digest it and pray about it and take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, and that, over time, when it's not so painful, devotees will start to contemplate and understand that this is not an ordinary event for this type of personality who's done so much for the institution to go down like this. It can only be like this. So now I'm just being very honest with you. I'm not a fanatical disciple of my guru. I'm just telling that all those Vaishnavas, all the GBC, all of those devotees, right, who I had friendship with at that time, especially, everybody said that he made this mistake. And it wasn't just him. There was 5 of them. And all 5 of them fell down or died. Because they don't realize, because they're blind. They're deaf, dumb, and blind. They got puffed up. And they were in material consciousness, materially motivated, too much asatsanga, and now you're putting yourself in a position that you don't know who's who. What is what? And Maharaj is so humble, he's not establishing himself, right? They miscalculated him. And they made that mistake. And people, you make mistake, okay, you get a reaction, and you're like, wow, this reaction is hatimata, right? You would immediately, like Durvasa Muni, you'd have a chakra chasing you, and you'd be like looking for relief, right? And then you go to, Vishnu Loka, and he said, no, I cannot help you. Because you committed that Vaishnava Aparad, you have to go there. And you have to beg excuse there. That's the only way you'll get released from that offense. I'm sorry, to interrupt you, but I just wanted to.
We talk about that today, and my husband said today, it is only because after many days, after many years, we're still speaking some, and he's told to me today, it is only possible because he has done Aparad.
Yeah.
Vaishnava.
Other ones can be adjusted, but this one,
And it is still, Europe is devastated from his...
I was going to these temples in Armenia and in Russia and in the Baltics after Maharaj.
Germany, Switzerland, Austria, it is a huge zone, Yugoslavia,
And Georgia.
Georgia, of course.
Right.
It's the North Europe, complete North Europe.
Exactly. So now we're coming in there after that. It's like going into like a war zone where everyone's either dead or gone, or the family members are in such shock that they're just walking around like almost like you know, like you lost your children, your family, your father. So that's what we were walking into. And then when I went in there, nobody coming to the temple, everybody lost faith, everybody just, no one could say anything to rebuild their faith and to give them, you know, confidence and shelter and protection. And especially if you're going there 1-2 days in a year, like what are you going to say to these people? So I just stayed there for months and preached to them like 10-15 hours a day. And they gradually started coming back. And when they started coming back and they started putting on sari and dhoti and becoming devotee, and then I was just, you know, gradually trying to help them, encourage them. And the local authorities got so nervous about me because they said, you know, this guy's becoming too prominent here. And so now he's a threat to our guru. So now we have to throw him and his people out of the temple. So this is very, very sad, disturbing situation. Look, you can't go there and help these people. Either you're too busy, you have too many zones, you have too many temples. Okay, let's give you that excuse. But get somebody there who can take care of them, who can answer their question, who can give them some strength and support and keep them alive until they can rebuild some kind of faith or, you know, dedication again to serve within the institution. And neither you can do that. And then someone's willing to do it and is capable and empowered to do it by mercy of Guru Krishna, and that you're stopping on top of it. So this cannot last like this. This whole thing, this whole nonsense, this bridge preaching and all of this sentimentalism and all the deviations, this thing is not gonna last. Because it's all apasiddhanta. And it's very deep-rooted. These people are brainwashed into this type of indoctrination, even within this institution. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Absolutely true. And I wanted to confirm another point that you made. There was a Ghostbuster. He was asked by our Guru Hari-katha Swami, his name was Chideshwar, from Orissa.
He says that there was a Ghostbuster from Orissa called Chiteshwara.
Yes, you know him.
I know him. And,
Did he get rid of a few ghosts for you?
I didn't want, but everybody else did. And Hari-katha Swami he did.
I wonder how much it cost, you know.
Because he got very mentally disturbed, I guess, because of the offenses,
Yeah.
he got really heavy mental problems, lost all enthusiasm, and he was, so he took shelter of this Ghostbuster, Chideshwara. Yes, and he gave him some special medicine to get healed, and this medicine later we had it in the laboratory, researching. It was heavy.
He got, so Chiteshwara gave him some medicine,
Yeah.
to Maharaja, and they had it analyzed.
Yeah.
And he's going to say what was in it.
Yes, and it was very heavy psychopharma drugs.
Psychedelic drugs.
Not psychedelic, but
Psychotropic.
Psychotropic.
yes, yes. And he got addicted to these, and his whole mental status, everything got worse and worse. And,
But he got rid of the ghost, right? It became to a point where they were saying, this Maharaj had 7 ghosts, and this one had 11 ghosts, and this one only had 3 ghosts, right? So Prabhupada said, if you chant Shuddha, you chant pure holy name, you're not going to have ghosts. This is madness, complete madness. Huh? What?
Even Namabhas?
Namabhas.
Yeah, Namabhas, yes, exactly. So this is the problem. I'll be really honest with you. Many of my godbrothers, godsisters, they had 2, 3 gurus in ISKCON, and who fell down, left, whatever, right? The GBC in the 1980s, they wrote a letter and said, if you want a guru who's not going to fall down, you should all go to Srila Govinda Swami. Because they understood, if this happens to these people one more time, they're finished. So they just said, okay, you have one last chance, is to go to Srila Govinda Swami. So many of my godbrothers and godsisters, we were like a bunch of misfits. We're just like a bunch of people who lost 2, 3 different gurus, destroyed. So when we showed up in Bhubaneswar, we were really broken people. Because you get your heart broken like that, even once, is so damaging. And then you build up again some faith, and again, and then again. So Srila Govinda Swami was literally taking people who were devastated spiritually with practically no faith, just hanging by a thread because of Prabhupada, because they really want to be devoted. And he nursed these people, he nursed us back to spiritual health. So when we came, we had little to no faith in ISKCON. I'll be really honest with you. Okay? And what happened was, Srila Guru, I told Maharaj the first day that I met him, I said, Maharaj, I have no faith in ISKCON. And he said, no, ISKCON is Mahaprabhu's movement, Baba. And just that one sentence from that personality, after years of no faith, one sentence from him, immediately he gave me faith. And I used to tell devotees, if you lined up every single guru, temple president, leader, GBC, all of them, none of them could have convinced me at that point. And this personality, by one sentence, and his level of faith and purity, instilled that faith into my broken heart. And I saw him do that repeatedly to the most damaged people who were forgotten and rejected and destroyed otherwise. So when I am speaking about what I saw personally and collectively, his potency to rebuild these people's faith and reestablish them in devotional service That's my experience in my faith. And I'm not a fanatical disciple. I'm not just saying, oh, my guru. I'm saying practically, honestly, scientifically, it's a fact. And the fact that these devotees didn't understand that, and they all died or fell down, that's to show. If it's just some ordinary person, it's not such a big deal. But when you have Durvasa Muni, or you have some big Maharatis, big soldiers, and they go down, everyone's shocked. Then many people could understand that we totally miscalculated this Maharaj, because he's so humble and he's not pushing himself forward and he's not demanding respect and he's not trying to be politically correct. They were blind. They were spiritually deaf, dumb and blind because they didn't get mercy from Krishna and they didn't get mercy from that sadhu. And that's what is required. And then otherwise, if we don't understand that, we're going to make the same mistake again and again. And so we're setting ourselves up by this kind of idea, well, maybe he's my guru, or he's nice, he's a gentleman, he's this, he's that. Okay, all of that might be fine. But that's not really what we need. We need like the real deal. And we don't know who is the real deal. We don't know who is Krishna's own man. Krishna knows. And I remember crying before Gaunitai and saying, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what is what. I don't know who is who. But this has got to the point that I'm getting a reaction from my own disqualification and cheating. I don't want to cheat anymore. I can't go through this anymore. I have to completely surrender. Because if I don't, I'm going to make the same mistake again. And that's situation. This is like the silver lining that we can take, that pain of that situation will drive us to go deeper and to be more dependent and more careful and depending on Krishna to understand how to maneuver through that process, because it's too difficult to build your faith and it's so easy to lose it. But they never taught us Guru Tattva. Right? It's just like, it looks spiritual, but it's like, your father or your uncle or your mentor or somebody, you love them. You're attached to them. You're worshipping them. Right? And then they die, you're like crippled, you're like heartbroken. You see? But it's actually a material relationship. It's not a transcendental relationship. How can it be? And you can say, well, at that time, but if he's Krishna's own man, an authorized bona fide guru in parampara, that cannot happen to him. That cannot happen. Immediately, if there's some misunderstanding, immediately Krishna would rectify him. Be careful. But he didn't get that protection. Why he didn't get that protection? Because he's acting in a position in an unauthorized way, and therefore it was not backed up and supported by Krishna Mahaprabhu's parampara. That's the bottom line. And if that's a fact, and they don't know who's a spiritual, who's a Vaishnava, that means you're not a Vaishnava. And if it's not, you can't recognize a Vaishnava, that means you're not a Vaishnava. And therefore, then what is the basis of that relationship? It cannot be a transcendental relationship. It's a materialistic relationship that somehow or other we become attached to and attracted to. And I'm not talking at you because I personally went through this. these people become even more than your own father or your own relative. But how can this happen? Why are they so angry at me because I'm getting mercy? That doesn't make sense. Then you start to add it all up. If Krishna, Prabhupada give me Srila Govinda Swami as my guru, whether I had Diksha Harinam or other Shiksha Guru, and you're my well-wisher, how do you not understand that I'm getting mercy from Krishna and Prabhupada and Krishna Parampara? How do you not understand that? Why you're not happy for me? So that was very painful to see that. And it was, I had to go through like 4 or 5 different situations to realize this is not a spiritual relationship. And it had to be broken from it in order to move on and get my lesson into the next situation. So I feel your pain, but I also took shelter of Prabhupada after that. And Prabhupada made an arrangement for me to meet Srila Govinda Swami. I was not looking for a guru after that. Prabhupada's my guru, and he's still my guru. But Prabhupada knew you need more help. And then he sent his disciple, Srila Govinda Swami, who answered everything for me, solved everything for me, taught me everything I didn't know. And after all of that, then he asked me, okay, now you go and try to help other devotees. So I'm acting on his instruction with whatever I picked up and experienced through all of that, because there will be many, many devotees in this same category. It's just a matter of time. And then who do they go to? Who do they listen to? Where do they get support or shelter and protection? Who answers their questions? You know, who gives them, who rebuilds their faith? These people have no idea what are we talking about. They just get another guru. Just select another guru. Right? This is not, you don't know what is Guru Tattva. You didn't train us in the first place. You authorized someone who shouldn't have been authorized. And now we're broken, and now you're telling just go quickly select some other person. This whole thing is completely illegitimate, and it is not according to Guru Sadhana Shastra, and it will not stand. And the people, the devotees, they will find out. They will learn eventually, maybe even the hard way, but they'll start to understand over time by mercy of Prabhupada, mercy of Krishna, what is what. Because we dedicated our life to Prabhupada and to Prabhupada's institution. And the fact that I'm still here through all of that is only because of Srila Govinda Swami. I would have left years ago. I was basically like a Ritvik, living in the ISKCON temple, taking care of Prabhupada's rooms, worshipping Prabhupada in his rooms in Los Angeles, worshipping Prabhupada Murti in my house, going out every day distributing Prabhupada's books for Prabhupada's pleasure, reading Prabhupada's books 3 hours a day. Everything was Prabhupada. I wasn't looking for a guru. I have a guru. I have Prabhupada. But Prabhupada knows you need more help. You can't really hear me. And I didn't know I needed more help until he brought Srila Govinda Swami. So that I wasn't like looking for a guru, but that guru came to me. So sometimes, you know, you'll go to the guru, or the guru come to you. And all I did was I prayed to Krishna and to Prabhupada, did you send this person to help me? Because it appears to be so. But I need to 108%, I need to be convinced. Then you'll be completely dependent for intelligence and faith from Krishna in your own heart. And until he gives you that intelligence and faith, wait. Just wait. Be patient. And keep praying, keep trying, keep crying to Prabhupada and Krishna, Gornitai, and one day, one moment will come where they'll make some arrangement and they'll give you intelligence and faith and say, this is my arrangement. And when I was praying, Prabhupada, did you send this Srila Guru Govinda Swami? Because this seems like he's here to help me. Even though I didn't need a guru, I'm not looking for a guru, but it appears like he's helping me somehow. So I prayed to Krishna, can you please give me what I'm just telling you? I did. I said, please Krishna, please give me intelligence and faith, whether this is really your man, and what am I supposed to take help from this person? And just when I'm praying like that, Maharaj says to me, he says, Murali, I know my words are pinching you. But you should understand, Murali, I am not your enemy. I am your well-wisher, Murali. Do you understand? I have come here for you, Murali. Won't you help me? Won't you cooperate with me? And immediately, I understood. The Sadguru. And then immediately I turned to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, thank you so much for helping me. I didn't even know I needed help. But you showered this mercy by bringing this personality into my life. And right after the class, Maharaj gave me a garland. And the whole night, I couldn't sleep the whole night. I was completely ecstatic. Because I finally met the Sadguru. I finally met my Guru. Now I feel shelter, protection. That was the happiest moment of my life. After heartbroken so many times. And then the next day I asked Maharaj, please accept me. And he said, Murali, you have accepted me in your heart. And I have accepted you in my heart. And Krishna wants it, it will happen. Just be a little patient because of this institutional consideration. There's always a problem from this institutional point of view. So why, if that's the happiest day of my life, why did my Shiksha Guru and Harinam Guru, why all these people I'm respecting and accepting, why are they not happy for me? Why are they not saying you got blessed, you got mercy from Prabhupada, from Krishna, from Vaishnava? Why are they angry at me? Why are they disturbed by that? That was shocking to me. Then I had to gradually understand and accept the fact that these relationships are not spiritual. Because that reaction, their behavior, proved it. But it was painful because I liked them, I was attached to them. However they tried to help me, I appreciated it. So it was a painful kind of lesson. So I hope that helps you a little bit. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Everyone, thank you so much for coming, tolerating me. I hope you're all right. Adam, I call him Adam Ant. Because when I met him, he thought he was a big guy. Right? So I just called him Ant. Now he likes that nickname, Adam Ant. So any last thing? Mataji, how are you? How are you doing? Please tell me. Are you becoming more spiritual? You're developing your spiritual body now? Or are you still Ukrainian?
Нет, я не отождествляюсь с украинкой, никогда не отождествляю. Нет, совсем нет, с украинкой не отождествляю. Я вот хочу понять, как я сегодня задумала, что гуру дает любовь, учит любви. А как это понять, что гуру учит любви?
I'm not identifying myself as Ukrainian, and I have one question. How?
I was just a little joking. This is a very touchy subject. You can't even joke about this stuff. So what happened? What's the question?
The question is how Guru is teaching to love.
To what? To laugh?
To love.
To laugh? You guys are always laughing. Do I have to teach you all of that? How to laugh? Isn't it automatic? When you're happy, then you laugh. If you feel love and affection, you feel love and affection. It's automatic. Right? No one has to, Prabhupada gives this example, like you don't have to teach somebody like how to love their mother or their father. Right? It's like automatic. Or if you have some wife or husband or something, no one has to, how do I love this person? Right? Of course, love is an action word. It's not a feeling, it's not an emotion. Prabhupada says that love is an action word. Your love for me will be shown by how you do this and that. You cooperate with me, you work with me, you help me, like this. So it's based on, love and affection is based on this type of loving service, reciprocation. Prabhupada said, you love me and I'll love you. But why should we love somebody? Why we should like somebody? Right? We should feel that this person is caring about me, trying to help me. Nobody cares. No one has the time. I was talking to my godbrother last night, and he has knowledge and he has all of this other thing. But I said, everyone wants to be a guru until you have to take the responsibility and the work and the effort, in some ways the burden of somehow or other, helping them. It's not just like just like snapping the finger. It takes a lot of hard work. Who cares about us? Right? I was just saying, my previous guru, he's not even happy for my happiness. So what effort is he giving there? So Krishna is sending devotees, Prabhupada is sending devotees who are trying to help us through this very, very complex, difficult challenges, obstacles, impediments, mistakes, our laziness, our foolishness, our inability to understand, and they're just again and again and again just trying to help us to understand it, and giving us, hundreds and hundreds of chances and opportunities, hoping that we'll eventually learn it. Who will do that for you? We should think. And then automatically understand this guru, real guru, is my friend, he's my best friend, he's like my mother, he's like my father. And I'm worshipping also him. Because he's a worshipful personality. How he's helping me. Everything. When many times people, they don't understand me, they're criticizing me, they're going against me. And I go to Gurudev, he's literally the only person on the planet who actually understands me. Where do you meet people like that? So the only reason he understands you is because Krishna is giving him intelligence to know you exactly, perfectly well. Otherwise, how can they help you? Krishna is Super Soul Paramatma, he's in everybody's heart. He's well-wishing friend of all living entities. If that Lord of the heart doesn't inform the Guru, then how does the Guru know how to help you? What will be effective, what will not be effective? Well, sometimes you get it right and sometimes you don't. And even if I get it wrong and your life goes to hell, you can't blame me, because in my mind, I was just trying to help you. I don't need that kind of help. I don't need another speculator. If it's all based on speculation and guessing and educated guessing, I'll do that myself. I don't need anyone to do that for me now. I need to know absolutely. And I need to know by the execution of that service, you have to be convinced in that reciprocation. And those results, that's what's going to convince you. Yes, Krishna gives intelligence and faith, and then because of that, then we're saying, okay, let me trust this person, let me try to follow the instruction, then let me see what result I get. When I try to apply this simple instruction. And then when we get a nice result, an undeniable result, then we develop some trust. So this relationship, it's a cultivation. It's not one day, nothing, next day, oh, I love you. It's like any relationship. You have to cultivate that relationship. This is just a spiritual relationship, but it also has to be cultivated. Just like it says, cultivation of Krishna consciousness. But we don't know who is Krishna. We know who is the Guru. We cannot hear Krishna, but we can hear the Guru. So my Gurudev used to explain that if you don't learn to have a Guru Bhakti and Guru Seva, then how you're going to cultivate Krishna Bhakti and Krishna Seva? So we have to learn that somewhere. Our problem is we're doing the right thing with the wrong persons. And sometimes we have to go through that experience. But now we know what we don't need. Now we know what doesn't work. Now we know, oh, I must be much more serious and depending on Krishna to make this next decision. And all of that is required. Without the darkness, it says the sunlight is not appreciated. So sometimes we go through a lot of dark periods in our life. But when the sunshine comes, when the light comes, we can very much more recognize it and appreciate it because of the dark times. So both sides is required. Otherwise we cannot really understand it. Mataji, does that help you? Are you being humble? Mataji, are you being humble today?
Yes,
Right? Wasn't she saying the other day she's not being humble and she has big false ego? So if you're not humble and you have big false ego, then who's going to love you? And if we're puffed up and we're not humble, we have big false ego, we're just like a selfish mentality. So if we're in a selfish, self-centered mentality, how can we love anybody but ourselves? So why talk about loving somebody until we figure out how to get rid of all the things that are blocking us from being able to love somebody? But that's a nice desire, and that's required. But how do we qualify ourselves to realize it? That's process of purification in order to get rid of this pride and to get rid of this false ego platform. Because we want to develop a relationship on soul platform, but if all we know is the body and the mind, how we're going to have a soul relationship? Is that helping you to understand it?
Да, конечно, безусловно, помогает. Но разума нет, я не знаю. Кришна, прошу разум, но понимаю, что ты разума совсем нет, понять всего.
I can understand that I don't have intelligence. And I pray to Krishna for intelligence because I don't have intelligence to understand.
And Krishna is helping you. We may have some material intelligence, but also the messes, the complications we've made in our life is because of our so-called bad decisions. And we're suffering because of that. So that's also very humbling information. We should always remember where we're coming from. But now we want to understand about the transcendental topic. That means a transcendental spiritual intelligence. That is a gift. It's nothing we can manufacture within ourselves. We just have to act in such a way that we get merciful intelligence and divine eyes and divine ears by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Then we can understand it. So, I don't have divine eyes, I don't have divine ears, I'm spiritually deaf, dumb and blind. I don't know what is transcendental Shuddha Sattva, Swarup Shakti topics. I'm in the Tamagun, Rajagun, no karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti platform. Worse than Jagai Madai. No sukriti, no piety. That means we're complete beggars. Alright? Hare Krishna. Alright, I thought I was just going to speak like for 1 hour. I was telling you, we'll try to just have like little short and sweet. But as usual, we go on and on because we need it. You know, it took us all of this time to come through all of these different discussion and topic that was required. So if someone just coming to your temple like, you know, once in a year for 1 or 2 days, how they're going to understand you? How they're going to really help you? We have to have like a association, relationship, and discussion, right? We're calling this the never-ending podcast, right? because it's a conversation. We're trying to go deeper and deeper and deeper and understand all of these topics to be more thoughtful about it. And with mercy, then it's possible. Because before I met Srila Govinda Swami, I didn't know all of these things. Honestly. It's only mercy. But we had to go through a lot of difficult dark times, to cry and pray to the Lord. And then somehow by their mercy, they were able to rescue us and pick us up and protect us, shelter us, and just answer everything in a way to rebuild our faith, and then to also then add all of this different type of understanding and further realization and transcendental knowledge. So everybody, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Gora Premanande. Hari Hari. Even Godzilla can speak something, Mercy of Guru Krishna. All right, everyone's good? Yeah? What? I don't know if people want to be seen in the picture, Oh, all right. We also have to shout them.